All right, well, from the top, good evening and welcome to tonight's neighborhood meeting. My name's Tyler Butler and I'm a planner with the city's Development Services Department. I'd like to thank Ward 9 Councillor Sergio Morales for being present tonight. And in addition to Councillor Morales, we do have, it would appear, 8 attendees tonight at the neighborhood meeting. The focus of tonight's meeting will be on a forthcoming application for a zoning bylaw amendment at the northeast corner of Mapleview Drive and Huronia, specifically 571 Huronia Road. Please be aware, we are recording this meeting for the public record. All information provided is being collected and will be used for the purposes of garnering your input, to respond to inquiries and to be notified of future meetings, and will be considered public information. Should you have any questions regarding this collection, please contact us at the Development Services Department. I would like to let everyone know that there are staff behind the scenes tonight managing the technology, and they do have the ability to interrupt the meeting at any time and will endeavor to allow the applicant and each member of the public the opportunity to speak if you so wish. Please bear with us if we have any issues, but if you do have any technical issues yourself, you can use the chat feature to directly message one of the panelists, and we'll endeavor to solve that issue. But please refrain from asking any of the panelists direct questions through the chat. There will be an opportunity to ask both the city and the applicant questions when we get to that portion of the meeting. I'd like to go over some of the just kind of the expectations and overview. So tonight's meeting is not a statutory requirement under the Planning Act. As the application is in the early stages of the review process, the intent of tonight's meeting is more so to provide members of the public with an opportunity to become familiar with the development application and the planning review process, and also ask the applicant questions and provide feedback. So what can you expect during this virtual neighborhood meeting tonight? Well, you can expect a presentation from the applicant's representative describing the proposal, a brief overview of the city's review processes and timing, and an opportunity to ask either the applicant or city staff questions and provide comments or identify concerns with the application. What to not expect: a city staff recommendation on the application or a detailed analysis on the proposal. This will occur later in the review process. You should also not expect a debate on the merits of the proposal between city staff and the applicant. Once we do move to that Q&A period, if you wish to speak or provide a comment, you will be required to use the meeting controls to raise your virtual hand. You can find this virtual raise your hand button and other meeting controls at the bottom of your screen. I don't believe we have anyone joining us on the phone tonight, so I don't think that we'll need to go over those controls, but if we do have someone attending, you can press 9 to raise your virtual hand when you are called to speak, and 6 to unmute yourself. You will be called by name to speak, and then at that point, we'd like you to unmute yourself, and then please clearly state your name, address, and then provide your comment or question. As we do work through these questions and comments later in the meeting, I respectfully request that members of the public please avoid repeating the same questions. Once a specific matter has been identified, it will be documented, and the applicant will either provide a response verbally this evening or provide a response later in the process during the public meeting in a written format through any subsequent submissions. This approach will allow us to have a more productive meeting and conclude the meeting as scheduled. Those of you that have registered for the meeting by providing a mailing or email address will also be added to the mailing list to receive further information about the application. So with those overview and expectations out of the way, let's go to the next steps. So after tonight's meeting, this is going to speak to the process. So I just want to quickly highlight these next steps. We are currently in the initial stages of the process. The application has completed pre-consultation technical review with a variety of internal staff and external agencies, with the expectation that an application is forthcoming. After tonight's meeting, the applicant will need to incorporate comments received from this neighborhood meeting and make a presentation through the public meeting process before the planning committee. The formal submission, once received, will be reviewed with comments received from city's technical departments and external agencies, as well as consideration of the public's input. This neighborhood meeting is established early in the development process to ensure that local concerns are heard and incorporated or addressed through our subsequent review of the application. Following tonight's meeting and review of the formal applications, there will be a statutory public meeting with planning committee or council scheduled in the future. This public meeting is a statutory requirement under the Planning Act, and everyone who registers for tonight's meeting, as well as property owners within a range of the subject lands, will be notified of the public meeting. The public meeting will be held virtually, similar to tonight. At the public meeting, the applicants will again present the application to council and again answer questions. At the public meeting, applicants generally identify that a neighborhood meeting has been held and provide an overview and a response to the issues and concerns identified in the meeting. Members of the public will again have an opportunity to provide either verbal or written comments at this subsequent public meeting in the future. So following that public meeting, staff will continue the technical review process associated with the applications, and the applicants may make any necessary revisions to the development proposal. Once the review process has concluded, a staff recommendation report will be brought forward to council for their consideration. All comments received throughout the review process, including those received at the neighborhood meeting and public meeting, will be identified and addressed in the staff report and will form part of staff's recommendation on the subject application. A staff report for the application will likely be brought forward sometime in 2021. So now I'm going to move on to the applicant's presentation. As I mentioned, the application will be presented first, followed by a question and comment period. So tonight we are focusing on a forthcoming zoning bylaw amendment application at 571 Huronia Road. Tonight we have from Innovating Planning Solutions, Kyle Galvin, to present this. So I'm now going to hand this meeting over to Kyle, who will first introduce himself and then share the presentation on the proposed development. So at this point, Tiffany, can you confirm that we've adjusted the recording sections for this public portion?
Yes, Tyler, we have.
All right, awesome. Well, Kyle, I'm going to turn off my camera and you can begin your presentation when ready.
Thank you, Tyler. Good evening, everyone. As Tyler said, my name is Kyle Galvin. I am a senior planner here at Innovative Planning Solutions, and I am also a registered professional planner. Let me just share my screen here, and I will begin the presentation. Okay, I hope everyone can see this. So the subject lands, as described, are in red on your right-hand side. The total site area of the property is approximately 3.8 hectares. Now, the proposal is not for the entire portion of the lands. It is just for the southwestern section of the site, located with the label subject site on it. And it has an area of approximately 0.6 hectares or 6,892.1 meters squared.
Hi, Kyle. I'm just gonna, sorry to interrupt. Are you able to put your slides into full screen? We're just having, we can see the slide itself within PowerPoint, but it's not full screen.
Oh, sorry about that. I've got two screens here. I've got one that does have full screen and one that is not full screen. So it must be sharing the wrong screen. Just give me 1 second.
The joys of technology.
My apologies.
No problem.
Okay, is that better?
Yep, that looks ideal. That's perfect.
Okay, so let's continue on. So yes, the area that I'm going to be calling subject site from here on out is that southwestern area highlighted in red. So I'll give everyone a second to reorient themselves since it was so small before. Apologies about that. The subject site has 2 road frontages, including 69.6 meters of frontage on Mapleview Drive East and 77.2 meters of frontage on Huronia Road, both of which are municipal roads. And currently the land sit vacant with limited existing tree cover, and it's mostly flat. There's not much topography on the site at all. This is the site in its current form, well, back when it was a bit warmer. We are looking northeast at the subject site from the corner of Huronia Road and Mapleview Drive. These 2 pictures are images of the frontages. The first along Mapleview Drive East, and that's on the left, and on the right is of Huronia Road. As you can see, the lands are currently unoccupied. This slide illustrates the land use designation that is currently applied to the subject lands. The lands are designated general industrial in the city's official plan. The majority of the land surrounding the subject site are also designated industrial, except for the site that sits kitty corner on the northwest corner of Huronia and Mapleview, which is designated general commercial, and that's the Fernbrook Mapleview Center. This slide shows the current zoning. So the site is currently zoned light industrial, and as you can see, the surrounding areas are also zoned light industrial, except for, again, that corner site across the street, which is zoned general commercial. There is small pockets of environmental protection area up to the north, and a little bit of agricultural area as well, but those are outside of the subject lands. This slide shows an aerial view of the site and its surrounding land uses, which include industrial, including a golf course across the street, commercial lands as described earlier, environmental protected areas. So those are the ones that are to the north and south, but not part of our site. And then far to the east are some residential areas, which are currently developed with single family houses. This slide shows the development concept. The proposal includes a multi-tenant building, including a restaurant at the southwest corner of the site, a gas station, and a car wash. The gas station and restaurant are around 1,900 square feet each, and the car wash is around 1,800 square feet. There is parking, as well as lots of landscaped area that's shown in green. The hatched area is along the frontage, and that represents a potential road widening that is required by the city. There's also access from Mapleview Road in a right-in, right-out access, and a full turning access from Huronia Road. This slide shows the zoning table. A zoning bylaw amendment is required to allow a special provision in the zoning to provide the use for a gas station. So this table demonstrates all of the zoning standards, which the concept does either meet or exceed. The only real reason we are asking for the amendment is to permit the gas station on the lands. As I said before, the concept consists of a multi-tenant commercial building, including a restaurant that will serve the industrial area, and accessory gas station with convenience store, and a separated car wash located to the rear of the site. This is an overview of the development concept. The lands are currently designated for light industrial use. It is a multi-tenant building with a restaurant and gas station, as well as a car wash, which is located at the rear of the property. It is appropriate as it is within the built-up area in Barrie. It utilizes existing infrastructure and is consistent with applicable planning policies and will be well landscaped. And that's about it for me. That's a general overview of the concept so far, and I'm here to take any questions or comments that anybody may have, and I can bring up any of the slides if someone wants to see one again.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that presentation, Kyle. So I'd ask that, yeah, if you can keep your camera on for this portion, just in case we do need to go back to one of those slides. So if we're able to, I believe that we will